men in their 50s are divorced, are like literally not walking upright. So they have no idea how to communicate. Your age and 40s are better than the 50s.
I avoided every single feeling until I was probably 31. But the majority of guys can't at all connect their head, their heart, and their mouth. So they don't know how to say what they're thinking and feel what they're feeling and then speak all those things. And when they don't have an ability to connect, they're using all different ways to try and connect. Those same guys are showing up with the Chanel bag because they don't know what else to do, and that's the problem.
Or only concerned and insecure about the fact that they can't buy the Chanel bag, which is also something not to focus on. Fair point.
Welcome back to veetaveetv. So women are saying that it's pretty much over for them after 45 in dating. They're saying that it's pretty much non-existent after 45 to run into a man who is even decent these days, to even give time to go out to dinner, to go dancing on the weekend, go to a nice movie. They're saying that you can't even find that anymore. So why do you think so? Do you think that all good men are taken, they're already snatched up and married? Or do you think that it's really that bad out here to even bump into a decent person anymore? So let's sit back and let's relax and let's listen to more stories on dating after 45. So let's continue.
Dating over 50, I made a huge mistake, and so I'm going to share it with y'all so that you don't also make this same mistake. So something that I always ask in the very beginning when I start talking with someone, like if I match with them in an app or if they DM me on Instagram or something like that, usually one of the first 3 questions I ask that man is, how long have you been single? And this is the mistake, because that wording can be really sort of I think it's too vague, okay? But that's what I said to this guy, how long have you been single? He said 6 months, and I thought, I always like to hear at least for sure if it's divorced, I like to, for the man to be divorced a minimum of 1 year. In fact, if he hasn't been divorced a year, I won't even talk to him because I just don't think that's long enough. But okay, 6 months, if you had a girlfriend, you've been divorced for years, maybe you had a girlfriend and you broke up with her 6 months ago, okay, I can handle that. So I assumed that's what it was, but you should never assume anything, right? So basically we, chatted back and forth, texted, whatever. Then we set up a call, we chatted on the phone, and I wanted to clarify. I go, so when you say you've been single 6 months, do you mean you've been divorced 6 months, or you've been broken up from a girlfriend for 6 months? He's like, oh, well, I'm still married. What I meant was I've been separated for 6 months. And I'm like, okay, no, absolutely not. And so I was nice. I finished the conversation because he was a nice guy, whatever. And then I texted him the next morning and said, you know what, I'm not comfortable talking to you or obviously seeing you until your divorce is way final. Then way in the future, feel free to reach back out. But I am not even going to waste one iota of energy at all if you're married. So my question from now on is going to be, how long have you been divorced? That's going to be my question. So anyways, I wanted to tell you all that because I don't want you to make the same mistake I did. And this is my easy casual outfit of the day. This is a Quince cashmere sweater. I love the fact that you can wear it off the shoulder. It comes in several colors. So soft. Quince makes the best cashmere at the most incredible price. These are also Quince jeans. Love these. They're a high-waisted straight leg. And you can order them in different lengths. I am 5'4" and I always get the 28-inch inseam. Okay, hope y'all have a good day. Love you guys.
If a man wants to take me on a date moving forward, I now require a $100 refundable deposit on a date. Hear me out. Man makes reservation, wants to take me out. Wonderful, no problem. Gets there early. Okay, kudos for him. He calls me and says, I've made a mistake. Sir, what is the mistake that you've made? He says, I can't get in because I don't meet the dress code requirement. I say, well, what are you wearing? Because look at me. What? Okay, I'll see you in a moment. I'll be there in a couple minutes. He goes, yeah, I forgot they had a dress code. You made the reservation. You said you've been here before. And you put on a jogging suit for a first date, mind you. Do people not try to put their best foot forward anymore? And don't get me wrong. If you wanted something casual, sir, you should have said meet me at Starbucks or Chipotle. I love a good bow. I would have showed up in my leggings, the worn out ones, oversized t-shirt, and some New Balance. So a man will be paying a $100 deposit if you want to take me on a date. If you show up and you can do the little bitty things like get in the establishment for the reservation you made, your $100 will be fully refunded before we leave the establishment, okay? Let's be clear on this before y'all hop on Beyonce's internet and say, I'm looking for money. No, I have my own coins. But it's not every day that a woman spends $170 for a beat like this. Can we get into it? She ate with that one. Okay, but stay focused here, okay? Yeah, naturally, a woman's going to do her own little 1-2 step on her everyday things. But to pay $170 for makeup for a date means I'm looking good for your enjoyment, for myself first, and for you to enjoy as well. Nails, pedicure, that's stuff I'm going to do on a regular. If I'm sitting in the house bed rotting, I'm still going to look good, okay? That's not a man's responsibility. Let's be clear on that, ladies, okay? But to pay $170 for makeup and you can't get in the establishment. Oh, but don't you worry, ladies and gentlemen. I went in and enjoyed myself. It was a great time. Sushi, chef's kiss. Had myself a French 75. Had some great conversations with the gentleman next to me at the bar, so no problem there. And the makeup will not be wasted because I have a date in a few hours with a man that is always dressed apart, and he got a beard. Also, it's my birthday weekend, so let the birthday shenanigans commence, and maybe later on a little hooting and hollering, but we shall see.
I saw this video on dating after 60, and somebody was talking about the fact that only 6% of men want someone who is 5 or more years younger, only 8% of men only want sex, and the takeaway from the whole thing was that everybody wants the same thing. Trust, companionship, a best friend, someone to go through life with. But for me, and I'm not an expert, I've been through 2 marriages, a number of short and long-term failed relationships. My only claim to expertise here is just having been alive for a while. To me, the question that needs to be asked is, what are you bringing into it? I don't want to say baggage, what history? And what history are you willing to deal with in another human being? I married somebody who had 2 kids, and I had none. And it was hard being a stepmom, especially not being, having had any parenthood experience and having had a rather fraught relationship with my own dad. It was very weird to watch the father-child dynamics that were going on there. The really loving ones were painful for me because I didn't have that, and the real, I don't want to say toxic, but the less healthy ones were difficult too, because I wanted to step in and say, hey, you might want to try something a little bit different here, but I really tried hard not to. And now I'm dating somebody who's a widower, and I'm a widow too. And that's not easy either. I started dating my guy 6 months after his wife passed, and it's not easy to walk into a house that someone that you care about shared with somebody else, and to see all the mementos of a life that was lived prior to me, and really wondering, well, you don't want to compare yourself, but you do. So I guess what I'm saying is, the real question when dating after 60 isn't what you want, because we all want some of those same things, but what level of difficulty, what challenges are you willing to deal with based on the baggage that you're bringing into it, the history you're bringing into it, and the history they're bringing into it. That to me is the crux of where it all lies, because it's all going to require some level of effort. We didn't get it out of our childhood trauma-free. Who here had a fairy tale childhood, particularly people in our generation? So you tack 40 more years onto that of lived experience, and really, it's what you're willing to deal with and what they're willing to deal with in the history. It's easy to say what we do want. It's harder to say what we won't deal with.
Divorcing in your 50s? Here's what you need to know about dating in our demographic. You've been warned. I'm 53 years old. I was married for 24 years. and I've been on my own for the last couple of years. I'm not on the dating apps now. I'm not actively dating. I'm in a relationship, but I've managed to collect enough dating stories that you would think that I dated for 20 years. And, you know, people are going to be broken in different ways. So I met this guy early into my dating. It was on Tinder. I was banned from Tinder. I can only speak to Tinder in really the fall of 2022. And I think there were some good guys on there, and I might have used them all up. High quality guy, attorney, lived in my area. We went on a whole bunch of dates, and he knew that I was not looking for anything serious. So he said, do you want to come to my law firm's holiday party? So I was like, of course, sure. Asked him, what's the dress code? And he was like, you know, holiday, festive. So I'm like, okay, great. So I end up wearing like an off-the-shoulder black sweater dress, but it's like skin tight to the knee. So I had like the lashes, my hair looked really good. I had the smoky eye, I had the right like dangly jewelry, the dress, like everything was good. I was taking pictures, I was sending them to my friends. I was like, look how I look good. You know, it was exciting. Again, I hadn't dated since like the prehistoric era. So it was like exciting for me to like, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm in the streets. This is why I'm on the apps for moments like these. But like, this is the fun stuff. So he's late for the date, considerably late. Like, I want to say like 45 minutes where like, I come out of my building thinking like, and he gets out of his car and he's wearing khakis. So that was great. Like he was dressed like Casual Friday in 1994. I'm all like skin tight, stuffed in, lashed. Okay, sure. Holiday party was at one of the partners in the law firm at his house. It's a really beautiful area at his big house. It was going to be catered, place cards, you know, chef, the whole thing. We pull up to the house and it's dark. Dark. He's like, yeah, maybe the party's in the back. I'm like, okay. We get out of the car. We walk up to the house, knock on the door. Nobody answers. Now, I guess he knows this guy well, so he lets himself in because he's like, oh, maybe the party's like in another room. They can't hear us. So we walk in, dark in the house, except for a woman sitting on the sofa, bundled in a blanket, watching television. Jumps off the sofa and she's like, oh my God, greets him because she knows him. He knows her. He's the wife of the partner. And she said, nobody told you? And I'm like, oh my God. Nobody told you? We had to cancel. The kids were sick. They were supposed to call you. And he's like, no, nobody called you. So now she's like scrambling. So imagine that. Like you're cozy on your sofa watching like Bravo. And these like jackass comes in with his khakis and like some slutty tall date from Tinder. Husband comes like stumbling downstairs and he's like, oh my God. They didn't call you. No, we've established nobody called us. That's why we're here. We're in your house. Okay? Nobody called us. So he's like, oh, I feel so bad. Can I offer you a drink? And I'm like, I just want to leave. Does Uber come out here? We just go to dinner. Let's go to dinner. I'm starving and maybe at least I'll get lucky. So we go to a restaurant, like 20 minutes away. We get there, the guys arranged to pay for dinner for us, which was really nice. So we sit there and we order food and he looks at me, he's like, I'm not feeling too well. And I'm like, what's wrong? And he says, well, I haven't been taking my heart medicine. What does that mean? God's gonna strike me down, by the way. I'm not mocking these guys for being broken. I'm not perfect, okay? I have all sorts of all my own stuff. Like I'm not like, look, like this isn't like, you know, supermodel physique, but I take care of myself. And I'm like, should we go to like an urgent care or to like an ER? And he's like, no, I just need to find like a CVS so I can take something in the interim. I said, how long has it been since you've taken your medication? He's like, you know, a couple months. I'm like, cool. Does your doctor know this? He says, no, I'm supposed to take it every day. I said, okay. So we end up spending the next like 45 minutes with me on Waze trying to find a CVS that's open in the country. I was back home in my apartment at 9:30 p.m. And by 9:45, I was sitting on the floor with my polenta fries in front of me and my lash strips on my coffee table. You've been warned. There are some wonderful guys out there and some wonderful women. Just remember that we are now going to encounter a lot of health things that we may not have expected. And I've got a lot more stories. I have a guy who the date had to get called short because he had gout. I have another guy who sustained a hip injury. after sexy time. Another guy got a leg cramp and had to leave. I could go on. Again, the other advice was go younger, go younger. And I tried that for like 5 minutes, and the first guy that I matched with immediately was like, oh, you were in high school before I was born. And I was like, why would you say that to me? So I will continue to share these tragic tales along with various pieces of wisdom and advice as you enter into this era of your life or slowly come out the other side. I'm by no means a professional. I'm just a jackass who is also gently worn, and anyone who dates me is also, my boyfriend is thrifting with me, and I realize that. So just letting you know what's out there. So stay tuned for the next story. There's a lot more.
I said on that last video where I talked about dating that I was going to update y'all, so here I go. And then after I make this post about dating, I'm done. I'm done dating, and I'm done talking about dating. I'm not done dating because I'm done with men. I still like men. I still want one for myself. But I'm not going to be actively dating. The person that I'm looking for is also looking for me, and I run into them, great. But if not, I'm done. I'm done with these men out here. So let me tell you what's going on with the men that I've been dating in the last year and a half. I prefer black men. I prefer men my age. I'm 62. So we're talking about elderly black men, I guess. I guess I am elderly. Here's the common theme. They've lived these hard, rough lives, and now they're finally ready to settle down and slow down. But of course, they're sick. They're sick as fuck. Almost every black man that I have dated is diabetic, okay? A few of them can no longer get an erection. Some of them have heart issues, cholesterol issues. They get tired easy. Physically, they are a mess. The other thing that's a trip is that now at the age of 60, they're all ready to settle down. They're all finally ready to share themselves. But they ain't got nothing to share.
If you're Gen X, single, and still want a partner, you're cooked, right? Let's talk about this mindset I keep seeing, especially in the comments in my recent posts. The idea that if you're Gen X, single, and still want a relationship, you might as well give up, like the ship has sailed. A lot of Gen X women I see online have found peace on their own. They've been through divorces, loss, chaos, disappointment, and they finally hit a point where peace feels better than possibility. And honestly, I get it. When you've lived a little, you're done with chaos. You're done with someone becoming a second job. You don't have the energy to fix anyone anymore. But here's the part nobody's saying. If you've gone to therapy, learned from your past, worked on your triggers, and you're clear on what you want, that doesn't make you harder to love. That makes you rare. Because peace shrinks the dating pool. Because now you can spot red flags before they turn into projects. And when you're not desperate, you don't tolerate patterns that used to slip through the cracks. So you might feel like options are thinner. But the truth is, alignment is better. And you know what? Those who match you are looking for you too. You just have to show up authentically and let people see your values, not just your highlight reel. And you know what? When I decide to date again, I'm approaching it differently. I know what I bring to the table. I know the version of me I've grown into. And instead of asking if they like me, I'm asking, do I like who I am around them? If it's mutual, great. If not, no hard feelings. You know what? We move with respect, not ghosting. And we save our energy for someone whose nervous system feels like home. When peace becomes non-negotiable, partnership becomes intentional. What are your non-negotiables?
The men in their 50s are divorced, are like literally not walking upright. So they have no idea how to communicate. Your age and 40s are better than the 50s.
I avoided every single feeling until I was probably 31. But the majority of guys can't at all connect their head, their heart, and their mouth. So they don't know how to say what they're thinking and feel what they're feeling and then speak all those things. And when they don't have an ability to connect, they're using all different ways to try and connect. Those same guys are showing up with the Chanel bag because they don't know what else to do, and that's the problem.
Or only concerned and insecure about the fact that they can't buy the Chanel bag, which is also something not to focus on. Fair point.